Well, I guess with that, then, our next goal is to go to Pascal's quest. And on the way, we'll stop by Footfall. Yeah, no dialogue popped up. Usually if there's some follow-up from having completed a quest that's going to trigger something new, it usually happens this on your first trip, and nothing happened. So maybe we are actually done with Argenta's quest. It just feels really abrupt that there's nothing else involved. Let's see, so we're wanting to go down to Foulstone, yeah? Yeah. So the best way to do that is to go... Is a world not explored? Right here? Does that mean I haven't scanned it at all? I just saw that on the side and... No, everything here... Already explored, already explored, already explored, already explored. Huh. Alright, let's... Not back to the bridge. I want to go back to the map. Misclicked. Come on. Taking forever when it's like, just... It was a misclick. Go back to where I was. Undo. So yeah, I don't know why it says one of these worlds isn't explored, but that's fine. It's clearly mistaken. Yeah, so the lava world, which we definitely saw had been explored. Okay. Janus is also having a colony event, so let's head down there. What do you guys got going on? Scriptorium Schools is finished. Gained some more efficiency, lost some profit factor, but gained people. Need some more complacency here, apparently. Unsealed gate requires the Lord Captain's decision. Alright, we'll look into that. Alarming news from Janus. Janus? The webway gate has opened, bringing forth a wave of xenos. Send military detachments to the forest of Janus. Will cost us weapons and people. For complacency and people, send diplomats into the forests of Janus. I wish we had more information about this webway gate. Or, I guess, more accurately, the Xenos. Because if it's Drukhari that are popping in, that's bad. But if it's Asuriani, then it could be okay. Like, if it's Drukhari, I want to send military. If it's Asuriani, I want to send diplomats. But since I don't know, we'll start with diplomats, and if it's bad, we will then send military. But I'd rather try and talk first. The diplomats end up prisoners of the Drukhari raiders that have invaded Janus. The Xenos flee the planet through the webway, taking their victims with them. Well, that's a problem. That's part of the reason I wish it would tell me what kind of Xenos they were. But instead, we just had a bunch of our people stolen. So we need, for these, Great Fire. So that's our big upgrade. Any here in rank 4 I want to do first, though. Large increase in tithes may be supplemented by a decree that addresses the current shortfall in other ways. Payment in organs. Probably not. Yikes. Also drops complacency even more, and that's one of the ones we need to build up. A new secret lodge of Xeno specialists will decipher the writing The written records left by the ancient xenos that once inhabited Janus could be okay. Lower security, gains efficiency, gains more reputation with Casabelic emission, which we haven't been trying to befriend them, so I'm not super worried about that one. Curious intoxicating substance has been discovered in Xenos ruins. Clandestine Magos alchemists workshops will refine and distill the substance, transforming it into pure euphoria that will delight the weary souls of aristocrats who long for new diversions. Just gaining profit factor and chemicals at the cost of xenotech. We don't have a ton of xenotech. We also don't have a ton of chemicals. That one's a maybe. I'm not strictly against that one. Death Cult of the Reaper Emperor. Hello. The decree requires that all redundant members of the community give themselves to the land, allowing themselves to become nourishing compost on which sprouts of future prosperity will burgeon. Costs us people and requires us to be dogmatic, which we are. Fanatic dogmatic. Gives us a new item. Start of the combat, the wearer gains MP equal to their resolve. Wearer cannot be slowed. The wearer has dogmatic votary. They gain +2 resolve for each rank in dogmatic and cannot be immobilized. All that sounds great. Lower security gives us even more dogmatic and tons more provisions. I definitely like this one. We're going to do it. So that's Janus taken care of. And I can't... Yeah. Some areas it feels like I can... Things complete instantly. Janus is apparently not one of them. So now we'll want to head down to Footfall. Not Footfall, to Foulstone, which I haven't actually linked up as a safe transport to our network, which I probably should have, because it is one of my homeworlds. So we'll make that safe. The Imposter. Alright. To Foulstone. Requires the Lord Captain's decision on the Imposter. An imposter claiming to be the rogue trader has arrived on the planet. Apparently, he indeed bears an uncanny resemblance to the rogue trader and has already managed to fool a number of nobles and collect ample gifts from them. We can declare a hunt for the imposter, costing us 2 people but gaining us 1 security. We don't need any of those at the moment. We could execute every noble who allowed themselves to be tricked, costs us people, gain 2 security and lose efficiency. Or hire the imposter to act as a decoy, which costs 3 profit factor but gains 1 complacency. I'm fine with just sacrificing 2 people to get a hunt for the imposter. Eager to carry out the rogue trader's orders, the people hunt down anyone whose appearance is even remotely similar to his. Whether the actual imposter has been killed or not remains unknown. Now the rogue trader will have to think twice before coming to this world in person again. Fantastic. And it looks like we have done most things. Holy ammunition is available. The establishment of ammunition production will be of great help in defense of Foulstone and neighboring systems. We were probably locked off because we didn't have enough reputation with the Drusians, and that has now been covered. So yeah, let's make some holy ammunition. Is there anything else we can do here? No. Once we're done with that, Foulstone will be finished. Cool. So next we have... Yeah. Pascal's quest in System Speculo, which is here. Alright, yeah, let's head in. Arc Mechanicus Hermetico. There is a ton of stuff going on here. We've got 3 Explorator flotillas, and then the Arc Mechanicus Hermetico, which is where we're actually trying to get to. Let's go to one of the Explorator flotillas first, before we just go straight there. Your Lordship, hailing the ships surrounding the Hermetico's wreck led to receiving the following transmission. We are the Cognizance Fleet. We praise the Messiah of discontinuing. We remain in prayer. We remain on standby. Let the cycle be discontinued. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. We are the Cognizance Fleet. We praise the Messiah of discontinuing. Patch in one of the captains. Pascal, it looks like a gathering of believers in discontinuing the cycle. It does. Is there anything unusual about these ships? Request landing or leave them alone. Pascal, it looks like a gathering of believers in discontinuing the cycle. Confirmed, the number of adherents to discontinuing the cycle does not correspond with the earlier prognosis. The willingness to declare one's commitment to the teaching of Blessed Amarnat is anomalous. This unit is intrigued. Let's patch in one of the captains. It will be done, Your Lordship. Request denied. We're receiving only the message voiced earlier. Is there anything unusual about these ships? Yes, Your Lordship. We are picking up traces of recent combat on many of the vessels, numerous traces. Based on the initial radiation background assessment, it appears that an Adeptus Mechanicus weapon has been used against them. So the Adeptus Mechanicus has come by to try and shoot down some of these ships for the discontinuing the cycle. Now, discontinuing the cycle has never been, to my understanding, from what we've learned, it's never been officially ruled heretical by the Adeptus Mechanicus, but it was a splinter branch from their normal point of view. But they were like still in debate, ongoing debate about whether it was considered heretical or not. I hypothesize that the schism within the Cognizance Fleet has reached a climax. My tech comrades raised arms against one another. It is with sorrow that I register this information in the archive. Request a landing aboard their vessel. We have received a standard denial of request message, Your Lordship. What outrageous impudence. Alright, then let's leave them alone. As you wish, Your Lordship. Let's go to one of the others. I assume we'll get a similar response. Your Lordship, hailing the ship surrounding the Hermetico's wreck led to receiving the following transmission. Yep, same thing. We'll leave them alone. And we'll try the last one just in case, but my guess is it'll be the same. Okay, then let's try and land at the Hermetico. Your Lordship, according to the ship's registry, we're looking at the Arc Mechanicus Hermetico. We picked up a Vox signal coming from her. Permission granted. May the Messiah of Discontinuing reveal the way to a safe docking gate. The raspy voice of the person who recorded the message is vaguely familiar to you, but you cannot put your finger on it. So it's someone we know, but we don't recognize. Requesting the right to participate in the first boarding party, evaluating shuttle docking options. So they are saying the Messiah of Discontinuing reveal the way to a safe docking gate. I've been wondering if Pascal is supposed to be this Messiah of Discontinuing, because we keep thinking that Amarnat is the Messiah of Discontinuing. I'm wondering if Pascal is Amarnat at this point, and he just somehow forgot about it, or something. Something is going on that's weird, and he seems to be at the root of all of it. Pascal does. But the Messiah of Discontinuing will reveal the way to a safe docking gate, and Pascal is the one that's going to point us to a safe docking spot. So it's like, maybe. Is there a safe docking spot? Not at the moment, Your Lordship. The damage to the hull makes observations difficult, and the surviving vacuum locks are sealed shut. I hypothesize that a proper vacuum lock may be opened using my personal access code. Justification, a message from the Arc Mechanicus. What do we know about this ship? Each Arc is a sanctuary for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Every such ship is a relic. They are incredibly ancient and were made to search for the sacred standard template construct patterns. Legend tells of entire forge worlds that were literally disassembled for parts to make such vessels. In any case, she is a ruin of her former glory. We observed numerous traces of internal decompression, not a single sign of aggression carried out from the outside. For what it's worth, some of the decks look intact, at least from the outside. We are also picking up strange radiation emanating from the hull. We believe the ship has been in the processional of the damned for a long time. Alright, let's assemble a boarding crew. It'll be done, your lordship. Alright, Pascal's already part of our main crew, so he'll be here. Who do we want to take as our last person? Maybe we will take Argenta. I don't have a reason not to, and I do want to see how she is with that power armor. And I don't think anyone else has any direct connection to this storyline, to my knowledge. Okay.
I won't tolerate weakness.
So we are on the Hermetico. The halls of this holy ship feel strangely familiar to me. Yeah, I'm betting you have some connection to Amernat you're not aware of. Tech tribesmen. Tribesmen. That is a very strange... Tribe is not something you usually connect to Mechanicus. The cogitator screen glows faintly. You take a closer look and realize it has been gutted. Its innards replaced with candles that cast glints on the black plexiglass. That's weird. For them to gut a cogitator and fill it with candles? Are you guys that tech shaman? Are you guys that different from standard tech priests? Tribesmen avoid your gaze and make strange gestures, probably some kind of ritual as you approach. These barbarians are pillaging the ship's supplies. I am registering a Category 9 blasphemy. I'm registering evidence that Volkite carbine was fired here. I'm registering a protocol violation. Use of weapons by Adeptus Mechanicus soldiers inside one of the ship's bays. We can interact with...
Follow my lead!
A cogitator there. What about you, shaman? The elderly tech shaman looks at you with dim eyes. He smells strongly of exhaust fumes. Have you come to speak to the great pref ghosts? Pref will not speak your lesser tongue, but I can help. I can interpret. Let's look at the tech shaman. The aging barbarian's skin is covered in tattoos of mechanisms, as if the ink drawings of cogs could pass for actual augmetics. Wires and scraps of flex tubing are braided into his hair, as well as shards from a broken data slate screen. Cogitator circuit boards hang on threads from his large ceremonial drum. I'm registering Category 6, 7, and 8 blasphemies in this tribeman's vestments. Only enlightened tech priests are authorized to dismantle and interact with the bodies of sacred machines, and painting the skin in crude imitation of true flesh is profane mockery. It is how I venerate the iron spirits who have done their duty and passed into nothingness, Ghost. I do this in hope that I might gain some of their wisdom. This statement is false. I am not registering any veneration. Who is Pref? Our deck's great patron spirit, who protects it and watches over everything that happens on it. Pref used to be a kind father to us until wicked people tricked him. That was when he disowned the mortals who lived here. He wiped the names of everyone who used to be under his patronage from his memory and no longer recognized their faces. Since then, Pref has been a harsh and cruel-hearted master who is deaf to our prayers. Pref, hypothesis. The barbarian is using the debased designation to refer to Prefect Enumerator, an especially sacred cogitator served by all of the deck's junior machine spirits. I'm registering a Category 6 blasphemy. The tribesman claims to communicate with it. Only enlightened adepts of the Omnissiah are permitted to interact directly with a Prefect Enumerator. Hypothesis. The part of the legend that speaks of disowning the mortals and forgetting their faces describes the removal of access rights from authorized units. For reasons unknown, the Prefect Enumerator was ordered to cease accepting commands from outsiders. How do you talk to Pref? The tech shaman raises the roaring mechanical sensor and inhales a lungful of its aromatic exhaust fumes. That's a choice. The tribesman's eyes grow dim, and he puts his hands on his drum. His fingers strike the taut synthetic leather with remarkable deftness and rhythm, like this. Pascal frowns and says darkly, "I'm registering a Blast it, layman. This blessed smoke is meant for the sacred machines, not your lungs." Then the tech priest falls silent and listens carefully before uttering in astonishment, "This primitive melody is a language, our language, a variety of rhythm-based tech vernacular in which meaning is created by the lengths of pauses between the signals." Is he essentially playing binaric speech on a drum? Wow. So are you Pref, or is Pref farther in? We'll talk to you first, or interact with you. The ancient servitor seems dead. The infrequent twitching of his head is the only glimmer of life left in him. The numerous augmetic regalia embedded in the body of the servant of the Omnissiah speak to his high standing and devoutness. Can you activate him, Pascal? The tech priest carefully touches the servitor's withered body with his mechadendrites. Data spikes slide out of them and sink into the servitor's augmetics. Pascal's vox sounds thoughtful and slightly puzzled. I identify this unit as Magologis Hectodon the 11th. The unit received 7 commendations for advances in astrography recorded in the fleet's archive. The unit, he liked watching the stars. He called them beacons left for us by the Omnissiah. The servitor gives a jolt, raises his head, and fixes his augmetic eyes on you. The large black circles of his visor are cloudy and covered in scratches. A pained moan comes from the speaker on the servant's throat. Unit status. Operational. Unit identifies itself as... No data available. Error. Malfunction. The Omnissiah knows... What? Pascal sighs heavily. He is suffering. This unit is long past its operational life expectancy, but the particularly ancient and sacred true flesh it was awarded for its outstanding service to the fleet is still prolonging its years. Do you know him? This statement is false. My archive has no record of any encounters with this unit or any archive requests concerning it. I just know, and I grieve. Pascal touches the servitor's pale skin covered in inky cartography. The tribespeople inscribed his body with the blessed manual of maintenance and repair. Hypothesis. Ignorant as to the true purpose of this litany, they perceived it as a health replenishing magic spell. I mean, it kind of is. The manual of maintenance and repair should be how you fix and keep it running, I assume, based on the name. Therefore, a health replenishing magic spell. Tech Brother Hecadon 11. This unit identifies itself as Pascal Hanneman. Can you hear me? Do you know me? Can you tell me what happened here? A jumble of sounds comes from the servitor's speaker, as if a very old man who has outlived his faculty of speech is trying to utter once familiar words now strange to him. Then suddenly a spark lights up in his visor, and he utters with great strain, "Executing function, all reserve capacities engaged in executing primary function." And that's it, that's where it ends. A spasm in the servitor's neck makes his chin twitch. Huh. Weird. And what are you guys doing? Just standing still and pointing, it looks like. The ancient warrior's flesh was once enhanced with priceless augmetics, but they are dormant now. You guys are just frozen in place. This vessel is furnished throughout with extraordinary ancient and sacred mechanisms. What a great temple it used to be. I'm registering residual traces of paper combustion inside this cogitator's casing. Did they fuel this repository of knowledge with books? We've got a chief. What kind of paranoia drove the crew to place the cannon platform here in the very heart of the ship? Yeah, it's probably not a good sign. The barbaric inscriptions blasphemously profaning the flesh of this sacred machine echo the words of this requiem of reverent shutdown. This cogitator's pattern is so old and sacred, I've never seen the like of it before. I've only heard about them from fragments of legend. So we could talk to the chief. But part of me is thinking I want to wander around and explore a bit more.
Victory awaits.
So I'm guessing the chief is going to be the more important thing to interact with. How dare they set up camp right in the heart of the sacred machine? This is a sacrilege against the blessed remains. Tribesman avoids your gaze and makes a strange gesture, probably some kind of ritual as you approach. This noble warrior's armor and agmatics are undamaged, and yet they are dead. What killed them? We've looked at you. No, we looked at one of you. Majestic metal statue is frozen in a menacing combative pose.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
This is odd. I see scratch marks from a servo claw on this venerable Scutarius' armor. Maybe that's Pref. The handprints and footprints indicate that the locals have turned the sacred unguent tank into something like a ritual font. It's definitely strange to see a very important tech world full of tech priests that have gone savage, more or less. The bay was breached from the inside. Traces of scaling suggest the use of melta-charge. Now everything is clear. A battle was fought here, and during preparations for it, Amarnat declared the observatorium off limits. Even to fellow servants of the Omnissiah, the Explorators, it was an internal conflict, and he expected his erstwhile tech comrades to become his enemies. So do we check this out first? I recognize the pattern of the chant. They are imitating a reactor shutdown vigil. They're trying to shut down a reactor?
A new challenge for me?
Something simply ordered the spirit of this machine to die. Tribesmen avoid your gaze, making strange gestures. Okay. I guess that's everything. Let's talk to the chief now. The lean, hunchbacked man studies you with a piercing gaze. One of his eyes looks you up and down. The other has been replaced by a bulky augmetic, ancient and adorned with gold, but is deactivated for some reason. He states in a dry voice, "The ghosts of nothingness have entered the deck of the Akgen tribe. I greet your tribe, we come in peace. Pascal explained to the commoner that I do not care what tribe he is from and that he should kneel in the presence of a rogue traitor. We're here to look for someone. I greet your tribe, we come in peace." The man shrugs indifferently. His voice is tinged with sympathy. It does not matter, you are ghosts. Let's take a closer look at him. The middle-aged man carries a potentia coil on his shoulders after the manner of tech priests. It is held in place by straps and is not connected to anything. Its weight has given him a hunched back. One of his arms has been replaced by an exquisite tech scribe augmetic, but the quills and styli are incredibly dull, as though they have been scraped against bare rock, and the limb servomotor is dormant. The sight of the mangled augmetic elicits a pained grimace from Pascal. I'm registering evidence of precious true flesh being operated in unacceptable conditions. The markings indicate that this sacred metal was fashioned many centuries ago on blessed Mars. Putting it to such crude and careless use is an insult to the Omnissiah. The idea that he's just strapped a potentia coil to his shoulder, not plugged it into anything, just a weight to carry, is crazy. Because the potentia coil, I think, is embedded into a tech priest to gain electricity just from their biological functions to power all of their augmetics. So it's a very useful... it's very useful to them. Just carrying it around as a weight, it's crazy. Who are you? The undertakers of the world that expired in the great discontinuing of the cycle. The mourners holding an eternal requiem for the universe. Fascinated by the answer, Pascal says quietly, "Let the cycle be discontinued." A wan, condescending smile greets the man's lips. It was discontinued a long time ago. Interesting. Because we've definitely heard this phrase said by all of these discontinuing people. Pascal and others. The entire game. So to have someone say, just condescendingly, that the cycle has already been discontinued. I don't really know what the cycle being discontinued really has been meant. It's been talked about, but I'm curious to see what their interpretation of it is, having lived here this whole time. Do you believe the world has perished? What do you think destroyed the universe? Is that why you call us ghosts? Interesting. Do you believe the world has perished? This statement is true. The world ceased to exist a very long time ago. It turned to nothingness, to ashes. All that's left are these ruins, the last shard of the universe. Its cenotaph. What do you think destroyed the universe? The unthinkable was wrought. The cycle was discontinued. This tribesman's mind is full of the most unenlightened superstition. Why does this unit seemingly know less than some primitive barbarian? Is that good or bad? Neither. It just happened, but it was a grievous event, and we grieve. Okay, we can't go back to some of the other options. It's a shame. Is that why you call us ghosts? Yes. There is only nothingness outside this ship. Sometimes it spits out ghosts, born out of the world's ashes, and they wander in. The sight of you saddens us, for we mourn you. Alas, there is nothing we can do to help you, since you do not exist. I see. The man sighs and makes a sign with his hand that is vaguely reminiscent of a tech priest's gesture to ward off evil. Pascal, what do you make of these people? Hypothesis. The primitive community is made up of descendants of low-ranking technomats who once serviced this deck. The name Akgen derives from category Akgen. AC stood for the Acolyte category, which serviced the main decks. Gen refers to service staff, who were assigned general, as opposed to specialized maintenance duties. So they are Acolytes of a general category. So about the most basic members for maintenance duties. The man looks at you and Pascal with indifference. He does not seem to have understood a single word. How do you survive here and what do you do? We hold a vigil for all of existence, and the spirits of the mechanisms give us water, food, and nutrient mix. We thank them for that with rites of machine servicing and maintenance. So commands the great entity. Okay, I want to know more about the great entity. I'm registering multiple deviations from the catechism of maintenance and operation in the actions of these units. Hypothesis. The breaches of sacred instructions do not stem from malicious lapse into heresy. They are the consequence of the rite having been lost to memory. A grave heresy, but not as profane. The voice from the Vox is full of sorrow and reproach. Who or what is the great entity? The supreme deity, the spirit of wisdom and revelations. It bears the name Marnat. Amarnat, maybe? The name grabs Pascal's attention. He says sternly, I'm registering a meaningful linguistic pattern, requesting all available information on Marnat. So if we assume that they are mixing names together, like they did here, I don't know what Am would be, because I don't know the various ranks of tech priests. Or what Marnat would mean. But yes, a meaningful linguistic pattern is what I'm assuming he's referring to, that they are making new words from various categories. And so Amarnat might be a category. Marnat is a divine being of great wisdom. It was this great wisdom that discontinued the cycle, and all who had partaken of it lapsed into nothingness. We never partook of the wisdom, which is why we exist, and I have nothing to tell you about it, Ghost. You talk to us, your kinsfolk do not. Why? I'm the Fabricator General, which is a very impressive rank and definitely not something he has earned. My shoulders bear the sacred burden of leadership. The man shifts his shoulders, bent under the potentia coil resting upon them. The others fear you, as ghosts can carry the living away into nothingness, but I am protected by Marnat's grace. Pascal's roar is like the blaring alarm of an extractor. Fabricator General, I'm registering heresy. Yeah. The man listens to the tech priest outburst without flinching. The universe must have a Fabricator General, the supreme spirit of, or the supreme priest of the Omnissiah. There is none other to hold that title, therefore it is mine. Have you seen anything unusual lately? The echo of an old crime was heard beneath the arching vaults of our home. The tribesman nods at you gloomily. A ghost of nothingness walked among us, of like appearance to you, but without a face. He spoke words that must not be spoken, and then penetrated the chamber of Observus, and our abode was shaken by the wrath of the gods for days, and we felt as though we were drifting through nothingness. Okay. My assumption, because I don't think none of these ships and stuff were here in this system when we last came through here. So my guess is they're talking about someone came through. I don't know what they mean by without a face. But he probably got the ship to move to this location. And so the shaken by the wrath of the gods and drifting through nothingness is probably them traveling through the void to get here. Probably? Pascal lowers his head and says quietly, "That is him, my mentor, Amarnat." What did he look like? His brow bore the mark of sorrow and past misdeeds, and his voice was like seeping sand. Was he alone? No, other ghosts walked with him, but he alone had a mind and a will. The others did his bidding, potentially servitors. What is the Chamber of Observus? An abode of deities and mighty spirits, secluded from mortals. The man points towards the entrance to the lift shaft. Down this great tube, they used to descend to the mortals. Now they have all retired to the house of Observus, the calm and keen-sighted, there to remember and mourn the world that once was. The unit has given us a distorted description of the observatorium, the bay that housed the Hermeticus bridge. There, under a grand dome of glasscrete, the wisest hierarchs of the Adeptus Mechanicus would spend time in reflection and strive to discern the Omnissiah's guiding signs in the glimmer of the stars. Pascal hesitates, then adds worriedly, "Correction, this data is a hypothesis. An archive search yielded no confirmation of this data. My possession of it is an anomalous cognitive fluctuation." Yeah, you know stuff you shouldn't, which again leads me back to the fact that something is going on with you that you aren't aware of, and you have some connection here that you have intentionally in the past made yourself forget, or someone placed in you without you being aware of it, I guess is possible. I want to get in there. Abandon this thought. Your kind can't go in there. The great tube was made for the travel of gods, not mortals. Only one who has the blessing of Pref, the great spirit who rules this deck, may approach the great tube. But even such a one will have tried in vain, for the great tube's spirits have sealed its gate, and will only open it to those who know the divine word. And the rust wraiths ensure that humans don't steal the word. They'll make short work of any thief. Who is this spirit Pref? The master of this deck, the second most important god after Marnat. Mortals cruelly betrayed his trust once, and he hasn't talked to them or protected them since. Pref only ever answers the shaman's invocations, and only occasionally at that. The tribesmen's profane speculations most likely describe an important machine spirit that remains awake, requesting a conversation with the unit identified as the Shaman. We already spoke to the Shaman, so they're definitely talking about that cogitator off to the side. Divine word? What divine word? Words command all of existence. The gods ruled the universe using words of power. There was a time when mortals too were granted knowledge of them, but that time died along with the world. Hypothesis. The term divine word refers to a command litany. A thorough understanding of the situation aboard the Hermetico will allow me to select the correct litany and recite it to the mechanisms that are still operational. And what are the rust wraiths? The man points at one of the motionless statues. The ancient ones, the servants of the gods. They used to be the gods' great warriors. Now they guard the peace of this universal cemetery and see to it that mortals don't challenge the divine order. The Scutari, the deck guard. The immortal servants are an elite detachment of the crew blessed with the most ancient and wondrous augmetic enhancements. They could survive in a sleeping state for centuries even. After a brief pause, a whisper comes from his box. Their presence here is unusual. Typically, the immortals only leave their storage chapel on special orders from the bridge. So how did the faceless ghost get in? He knew the secret. The spell was not of divine origin. Its power suppressed that of the gods. It was born in the mysterious depths of irregularity, and soon after a mortal first uttered it, the world was no more. Pascal waves a mechadendrite at him in annoyed dismissal and says impatiently, "The blessed Amarnat can command any mechanism on his ship. The indoctrinal heresy uttered by the unit is unworthy of attention." You put a lot of trust in Amarnat, and I'm guessing that things aren't as you hope them to be. Your guesses are amazingly spot on, Pascal. The tech priest is taken aback. He pauses to think, then says with no great confidence, "The statement is false. Each of the hypotheses was logically deduced from our present situation, and other information that you have in your mind that you don't know how it got there." I see. Good. Don't seek to enter the god's abode, Ghost. It is no place for you. I must take my leave. Farewell, Ghost. I hope nothingness summons you back into its embrace soon.
It's about time.
Alright, we'll talk to the shaman again now that we have more direction to go on. What do you seek from him who has Pref's ear, Ghost? Is this Pref then? This specific machine? Or is Pref that cogitator? Unknown. We've come to plead for Pref's benevolence. Every word you say is accompanied by a series of quick drum taps in a complex, choppy rhythm. Crackling comes in response from a box hidden somewhere inside the wall. The tech shaman tilts his head and says, "The great Pref would like to know who is speaking to him." The prefect enumerator is running an identification procedure. Given existing data on the machine spirit's refusal to follow orders within the chain of command, I predict that the standard identifiers will be assigned a low priority. If the machine spirits speak a tech priest language, do we even need the old man? Introduce yourself formally, Pascal. Tell me you're the Messiah of discontinuing. Volunteering too much information to an unknown entity is not a good idea. Lie and say that you are an authorized inspector from the fleet's conclave. Do we even need the old man? This statement is false. The idiom is a distinctive vernacular, most likely only used by the ship's crew. It is intuitively familiar to this unit, but not intelligible. I'm guessing introducing yourself formally is going to fail, but let's start there. Introduce yourself formally, Pascal. This unit is Magos Explorator Pascal Hanneman, a member of the Cognizance Fleet, presenting doctrinal compliance and algorithmic obedience certificates. The indicator on Pascal's neural cogitator glows. New data lights up Pascal's noosphere aura that no layperson can see. The tech shaman translates Pascal's words into quick taps on his drum. Its dangling circuit boards jingle dramatically. He inhales the aromatic exhaust of his roaring sensor, listens carefully, and says in a strained voice, "Pref asks why he should treat your words with respect and not scorn them. Pascal's voice becomes dry and bristly. The machine spirit is requesting to know this unit's access privileges. It refuses to submit to a stranger's will without a compelling reason. Machine spirits can be capricious and undisciplined. After years without a sanctified manifest maintenance, this one may have forgotten all about obedience. Normally in cases like these, a tech priest would bring the wayward spirit to its senses with a shock from an electrical prod or a blow from a wrench, accompanied by the litany of uninterruptible obedience. I think a show of force is in order to show this machine its place. Point at the surrounding ruins. Are you sure this is not a compelling reason? You are an eminent and venerable Magos. It cannot ask for more than that. It wouldn't dare. Since our tech use test succeeded and it's saying we need to use force, shock probes or a blow from a wrench, I'm going to suggest that. I think a show of force is in order to show this machine its place. This statement is true. Pascal extends a hand towards the machine, which is enveloped in showers of sparks. The crack in the tech priest's armored respirators shines a bright green. There is steel in his voice. My power is my authorization. Acknowledge it, or you will regret it, wayward spirit. The tech shaman shouts out in fear and shakes his drum frantically. Pref acknowledges your power, Ghost. He does. He asks why you seek his friendship. Pained rattle comes from Pascal's box as he touches the crack in his armor, which is no longer glowing. He looks as though he has a sudden toothache, then says with effort, Hypothesis. The prefect enumerator's request is to be interpreted as, what is the purpose of your visit? Felt something profound and spiritual and invoked the Messiah. Tell you are on a mission from Amarnat. Perhaps the spirit knows who he is. Or you know the answer yourself, Pascal. I think we will trust Pascal on this. You know the answer yourself, Pascal. I've come to discontinue the cycle. The tech shaman listens to the crackling coming from the hidden vox in response and shakes his head contritely. The great Pref does not recognize your name or your face. He will not grant you his friendship and bids you to leave. Pascal's vox hisses angrily and he shakes his head. The prefect enumerator's reaction is anomalous. Such disregard for regalia can only be explained by a protocol signifying an extreme degree of danger to the vessel. So do we just try again? We've come for Pref's benevolence. Prefect enumerator is running out of identification procedure. Yeah, so we can give it another try. Tell him you're the Messiah of discontinuing. This unit is Magos Pascal Hahnemann. He hesitates a little, then adds, some identify him as the Messiah of discontinuing. Oops. Although this statement is false. The tech shaman translates Pascal's words into quick taps on his drum. Its dangling circuit boards jingling dramatically. He inhales the aromatic exhaust of the roaring sensor, listens carefully, and says in a strained voice, Pref asks why he should treat your words with respect and not scorn them. Pascal's voice becomes dry and bristly. The machine spirit is requesting to know this unit's access privileges. It refuses to submit to a stranger's will. So do we go with a show of force again? I'm not opposed to that. It seemed like a reasonable next step. Acknowledges their power. Why do we seek his friendship? And then we go with the cycle of discontinuing. I think. There we go. So yeah, we have him identify himself as the Messiah of discontinuing. We show our force, and then we're here to discontinue the cycle. Seems to have moved things forward. The tech shaman listens to the crackling that comes in response and opens his mouth to say something, only for Pascal to interrupt him in a tone of authority. The prefect enumerator has stated that he knows my name and is familiar with my power. He respects my mission and grants me a place within the crew's chain of command. Your work here is done, binaric interpreter. Referring to their shaman is just, you are a binaric interpreter. Pascal looks at you and adds with slight surprise. I remember this language now. Or more precisely, this unit used to know it, and now it remembers having known it. The tech priest turns towards the wall with the sacred mechanism concealed inside it and says doubtfully, I'm registering an anomaly. The data exchange deviated from the standard registration procedure. The prefect enumerator was commanded to limit the number of people who have clearance to issue orders, including even high-ranking tech priests from other ships. He was tasked with defending the observatorium as if it were under siege. Our mutual introduction rather resembled an exchange of secret passwords. Okay, I think that means now we can use this. We would like to go up to the observatorium. Request denied. The rattle in the servitor's voice could be easily mistaken for indignation. Access to the lift system denied. Service is in Obscuratoria mode. And Obscuratoria is a complete ban on holy ministry within the compound. Any and all sacred maintenance procedures are deferred until after the ban is lifted. An Obscuratoria is declared when a temple has been compromised by suspected corruption, before battle, or in the event of a major critical incident. Hypothesis: Obscuratoria was declared ahead of a battle in order to hinder a hostile infiltration to the observatorium. Knowing the reason enables this unit to deactivate the containment protocol. Alright, then Pascal, unlock the lift. Hypothesis: as soon as the lift going up to the observatorium is operational, we will be attacked. The deck guard will activate and attack us, requesting confirmation of readiness for combat. Okay. By deck guard, do they mean the Skitarii that are over there? Well, it's fine. We're always ready for battle. Do it. Pascal enunciates solemnly, accompanying each word with binary commands. As its first pronouncement, this unit declares that no security threat to the High Observatorium is present. As its second pronouncement, this unit orders the operation of the lift system to be restored. As its third pronouncement, this unit confirms its authorization to issue that order. An intricate, monumental, and piercing binary aria pours from Pascal's vox. Encoded in its signal is Hanuman's authority to give orders on this ship. The servitor stares at Pascal with visored eyes and bows his head awkwardly. Regalia identified. I greet the venerable Magos and will execute the order presently. Lift system activated. The servitor's last words are drowned out by a harrowing screech that rolls across the deck as several shrill voices wail, "Security perimeter breach for the Omnissiah." Yep. And each of the Skitarii immediately activate.
I won't heed your cries of mercy.
Alright, you guys have about 300 health each. Slightly different amounts, which means you guys probably have slightly different stats. No, so the tribemen are not attacking. It's just the Skitarii. There are quite a few of you. We'll move Cassia there. We'll put ourselves... Wow, we are in a terrible position. We'll just hang out there, I suppose. And I need to switch back to my staff before I forget. Juliet, you can get... There's no cover here. Whatever. Move forward. Argenta, probably something similar. Just move forward a bit. And then as for our meleeers, I'll have you guys start in cover, since you can't really get forward. Except I could move Pascal, so he's better able to move somewhere. I want to leave this front area open so I don't accidentally get to a position where I'm going to kill my own allies. Alright. So... we'll do the usual start.
To being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the serfs? Me, if you insist, Lord Captain.
Nothing I can't do.
Let's switch that.
All too easy. Suits
Then a
my
run and
purposes.
gun. Can I get to a position where I can hit multiple? Potentially a line there is doable. Or maybe even, probably not a line there. So are you not an enemy? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hit both of you, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll just hit these two.
Let's see how they respond to this. Nothing of value has been lost.
High momentum, nice. So then we can go steady superiority. To give myself another free attack. We're not going to be able to attack you guys because there is that barrier in the way. So I'm only going to be able to get one attack off, unfortunately. And this doesn't actually kill. That's... How much health do you have? You have 500. Okay, I thought they were all 300. You are significant. Hold on, I definitely want you dead. Let's move forward a touch. That way I'm better positioned to get more attacks off later.
I shall not fear.
I can do wildfire. That'll give me another attack, which could finish you off. Doesn't give me movement, sadly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be the end of my free first turn. Then Castia can give me another turn. Kind of forgot that I need to stay within line of sight. But that's fine.
Step aside. The navigator is coming.
Okay. I'll just kill you easy enough. Probably need to kill you, which means I'm going to need to get to a new position because you're out of sight, unfortunately. Is that good enough to see you? Yes. Trying to minimize how far I have to walk so I'm not running out of movement. Okay, that's actually good enough.
Nothing I can't do.
Not going to be able to get a good line on you guys, though, unfortunately. I guess that's not necessarily true. If I went... If I activated Reckless Rush...
Suits my purposes.
There we go. If I went, say, here... I can hit you two.
Not a problem for me.
And then just hit you.
All too easy. You didn't stand a chance.
Okay. Simple enough.
I won't tolerate weakness.
What's your deal? So this one's dead. The rest of them were just sort of in stasis, it seemed. Some basic plasma pistols. I think we already have some of those. But in case not, I'll grab one.
Victory awaits.
All right, let's talk to the chief now. See if he has anything to say about that. Nope. And you, Shaman. Anything further from you? Also, no. I guess let's just head in.